Hello, my name's Charles Cooper. I'm Head of Copper Research at Wood Mackenzie. Today, I'd like to offer a brief and timely snapshot of the copper market, a sector that sits on the crossroads of geopolitics, green energy and global trade. Copper, often regarded as the barometer of global growth, is more than just an indicator today. It is the backbone of the energy transition, powering electric vehicles, renewable energy, the digital infrastructure, and supports population growth and development. But the market and its supply chain remain challenged. In June, the LME experienced a sharp short squeeze with cash to 3-month premium spiking by nearly $400 a tonne, and this is unusual. This was partly driven by the strategic stock reallocation to the US exchanges in April, ahead of anticipated tariff measures. And as a result, US cathode imports doubled in April, while inventories on the LME and Shanghai stock exchanges plunged, with the LME falling roughly 93,000 tonnes, triggering, subsequently, regulatory intervention. Turning to mine supply, disruptions appear to be mounting. Recent seismic events at the Kamoa-Kakula mine has taken roughly about 155,000 tonnes off the table this year. And that's already eaten into nearly 3% of our 5% disruption allowance that we make every year for mine supply. However, we see that mine supply growth this year will increase only marginally by about 0.2% to 23.2 million tonnes. On the demand side, we see copper consumption outpacing this growth at around about 2.6% for 2025. with Asia benefiting from shifting trade flows, even as the US and Europe face demand headwinds. Meanwhile, in the middle of the copper supply chain, smelters remain under considerable pressure. Treatment charge and refining charges have collapsed, with Antofagasta's mid-year deal with Chinese smelters set at an unprecedented $0 per tonne. And while many smelters derive considerable revenues from bonus metals, like gold or silver or sulfuric acid, many, particularly outside of China, are beginning to feel the pinch. And that brings us to China. While it only mines around about 8% of global copper, it controls nearly half of global smelting capacity and over 50% of copper consumption. This dominance extends right across the supply chain, from EV batteries to grid tech. In a world focused on energy security and supply chain resilience, we have to ask ourselves, how comfortable are we relying so heavily on one country for such a strategic mineral? At the same time, resource nationalism continues to rise in countries from Latin America to the DRC, pushing all the while to capture more value through their resources through value addition, including higher royalties, taxations, and building their own downstream capacity. While understandable, these moves can often slow down investment and delay new supply. And while we don't have time to waste, by 2035, we estimate that we will need something in the region of 6 million tonnes of new copper to be brought online. And by 2050, that gap could increase to about 18 million tonnes. So what does this all mean? We're entering a new era for copper, one that demands strategic foresight, global collaboration, and smarter policy. At Wood Mackenzie, we're tracking these trends closely through our interactive Lens platform, helping the industry to ensure that copper doesn't become the bottleneck in the world's low carbon transition. Thank you for watching.